Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I am back to talk about auto mode and exercise. And I'll start with my disclaimer. These videos are strictly my personal experience using the Minimed 670G and not to be used as medical advice. Okay, so with that being said, I've been kind of hinting at exercise and auto mode for the last couple of videos because it is definitely something that I was really surprised about. So I was hoping to give you guys an example today so you could see what it is I'm seeing. Before, when I started on the 670 and we started talking about auto mode, it was one of my very first concerns is how am I supposed to handle exercise? My history as a diabetic, and I think that probably many type 1 diabetics who exercise share this history, is that exercise pushes me down. I'm not a weightlifter. I run, I dance, I do basketball, so exercise pushes me down. I usually crash 15 minutes into it, whatever it may be, and then it sometimes can take me really a couple of hours afterwards before I fully recover from the effects of it. So there's a lot of kind of snacking. I can do little snacks that I don't have to cover, so on and so forth. So then here comes the 670. We talk about auto mode, and they explain that there is no temp basal. There's a temp target. So I wasn't sure how this was supposed to work. A temp target reduces your insulin needs by adjusting your target blood glucose from a 120 to a 150, which is about 25% difference. I can't remember if it's 25 or 30 or maybe 20, whatever. So it's an adjustment, but it's a set one. You can't alter it. When I did do temp basals, I always did 50%. So I said, this is not enough. There is no way. And then when I started and I tried the temp target, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good fit for me. So they said, okay, look, if your temp target doesn't work, then exit, go to manual mode, do your temp basal, right? Go back to the way you used to do it. So I did that, and I was getting these really surprising results. I wasn't going low after exercise. Sometimes I'd go really low during. I would do all the treatment, I'd do sugar tabs, whatever, and then I would have these huge spikes afterwards, and I couldn't understand. Then I figured out the suspend. I had suspend before low set, so I realized I was suspending and treating. Okay, so I decided to get rid of the suspends. I still continued to have problems. So by chance, I happened to go out one day on just auto mode, and I didn't think to do anything differently. And it was a really even exercise. It was a walk, it was casual, but it was very even. So I said, you know what, I haven't tried it. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. And then I went this route. Now it's been, I don't know, not enough to be able to swear that this is what's happening, but enough to get a pretty good idea and to realize that this is my current plan. It's been, let's say, between 8 and 10 sessions now that I've done on just auto mode. I do need to say that I have to start high enough so that when I start to go down, I don't start to crash. And before, my old diabetes behavior, barbaric as they were, is I would push my sugars up to 300, 350 so that I could get through a session. I don't do anything like that anymore. But I still need to start my session at a 175, 180 ideally. The other day I went out at an 80 for a walk, and I went down to a 40, and it was it was just a walk. But okay, so now I have to do about 175, 180. Yesterday's exercise session, I started a little higher than what I wanted, and that's actually started because I was starting to climb. So I realized I better get out, and just head it off. But yesterday I started off at a 227, and I have here, my mom and cousin would be ticked because they've been making me really nice graphs. And this is not one of them. But I have here what my session looked like yesterday. I'm trying to think where I need to go. This is backwards. Okay, here's my BG. And they are in increments of 50. So that's a 50, 100, 150. And here's my time in minutes in increments of 15 minutes. So this is really what exercise does to me. That's pretty regular. I started off here at a 227. 15 minutes later, I was at a 220. 15 minutes later, 194. 15 minutes later, 162. 60 minutes, about 1 hour after starting. So at this point I would be done. I was down to a 120 and dropping. At an hour and 15 minutes, I was down to a 103, but no longer dropping. 15 minutes after that, I don't know where I am anymore. I was up to a 99. I think that's right there. And I had 1 sugar tab for symptoms. I could start to feel that I was going a little bit low. 15 minutes after that, I was an 80. But what is awesome, 1 sugar tab is right here. You can see I start to turn. Okay, I do 80, 86, 107. 107 is at 2 hours and 15 minutes after starting my exercise, and that is without any intervention on my part other than 1 sugar tab. And then there's this right here, which I didn't even put the time, but that was at 2.5 hours later. I was at a 137 single arrow up. That's another effect of exercise in auto mode, and I really would like to discuss this because this is where auto mode is weak. But if you're trying out exercise, there is this hidden strength. And it's that it's going to help you prevent this hypoglycemia during your exercise. This right here is another video. This right here, I think, happens because when it cuts you off from your when it puts you in a minimal delivery, which is basically a suspend, there's going to be fallout. And for me, that's that fallout. I can't go 2 hours or 2.5 hours without a basal, without rising. So I do rise, but that I'd like to discuss in another video. And I'm even starting to try to figure out what to do about that with some success. So that's what I got. I'll see you next time. Bye.